Hello, my name is Pedro Rios. I am the presenter for the Affirmative Action Presentation Debate. To begin with, this debate is over Proposition 16, which takes place in California, and it is about the consideration to allow race, gender, etc., for programs and applications to things like college, government, workplace, etc. This is something that did exist previously, but according to another law, it was overturned and changed to where it was no longer allowed. And now, since with all the protests and all these other things going on in our country right now, it is something that is debated and something that people are trying to get it passed into law. So this is something that's going on in California right now, but we will find out whether or not it is something they should pass or something they shouldn't pass. Thank you.
Hey, my name is Ben Ferguson, and I'm a debater for the Affirmative Action Group. Pretty much, California is in the midst of trying to get Proposition 16 reinstated, which was previously overridden in 1996. This proposition allows companies and government hiring, contracting, and universal admissions to take race and sex into consideration when making a decision about someone's career. And personally, after saying that, I feel like I've stated the argument and won it, because that's a ridiculous idea. I don't see how it could help anyone in any way, but we're just going to get on with the presentation. Back in 1996, Governor Pete Wilson pushed Proposition 209, which prohibited the consideration of race and sex in public employment, contracting, and education, and this made California the first state to do this. Shortly after California did this, 8 other states did it as well, and those are the 9 states that have made official laws about discrimination and taking race and sex into hiring or accepting people into workplaces or universities. So now there's not really, no other states actually have this law set up, but they pretty much follow this trend just because, why wouldn't you? It's pretty messed up not to. But anyways, the reason that California wants to pass this proposition, which is really weird considering they started it, is because they believe it will give women and people of color an equal playing ground when it comes to getting a job or being accepted into universities. They claim that women and people of color are still being discriminated against in the state, and that by allowing companies and schools to hire and accept people solely on race and sex, that will end discrimination. And you heard that right. They think that legalizing discrimination will end discrimination. I've done my research, a lot of it, because I was confused about that for a while, but nope, that is their claim, and I don't see the logic behind it, but we're not here to talk about how wrong they are, but how right I am. So, Proposition 209, which is still instated, makes it illegal to, which makes discriminatory decision-making illegal. So at this point, the state already has, the law saying it's illegal to do this. So that means there's really no way that California could decrease the amount of unemployment for women and people of color, because it's already illegal to discriminate against them, But California really believes, or some people in California really believe, that this will work. The reason I think that they think that, the only thing that could possibly work in my head is that since there's only 9 states, California being one of them, that have official laws about discriminatory decision-making, since all the other states don't do that, they're probably thinking, well, since they don't and they're all doing pretty good, there's not as much discrimination in these states, maybe if we take away the law that says it's illegal to discriminate against people, if we take that law away, then we'll be like these other states, and discrimination rates will go down. Like I said, I'm not really sure the logic, but Proposition 16, that is totally gonna mess things up for thousands of people. I bet that unemployment rates for women and people of color would go down like there'd be the highest rate of unemployment in California for the last 50 years. It's yeah, it's just logic. That's pretty much all there is to this argument, is just straight logic. Thank you for listening.
Hello, my name is Nick Mead, and I'll be a presenter for the Anti-Affirmative Action Group. So first off, according to the Oxford Dictionary, affirmative action is defined as the practice or policy of favoring individuals belonging to groups known to have been discriminated against previously. And it was first used by President John F. Kennedy when he gave the Executive Order 10925 and said this: take affirmative action to ensure that applicants are employed and that employers are treated during employment without regard to their race, creed, color, or national origin. However, in today's day and age, that definition and context of affirmative action has been changed quite a bit. Now, affirmative action usually means employers need to hire more people of color for the sake of being diverse. Affirmative action, in my opinion, is harmful for both the business of the employers and for those who are actively seeking jobs for said business. When hiring certain people for the sake of diversity, the possibility remains that the people that were hired as a part of affirmative action may not be as qualified as others. For example, if a white man and a black man were to apply for the same job, the black man would get the job because of the fact that he's black and that the company is trying to make their workspace more diverse, even though the white man may be more qualified for that certain job. And in my opinion, only the most qualified should be the one being hired, regardless of their race, color, or creed, as John F. Kennedy said. Another problem is that when you hire underqualified personnel, that can more times than not be devastating to the workforce of that company for obvious reasons. It's only just one of the reasons why affirmative action does more harm than good in the business world. Thank you for listening.
Hi, I'm Alyssa Torres, and I'm going to be debating on why affirmative action is helpful. So just going off what my previous partner just said, about how diversity can actually spur growth in cognitive skills, academic engagement, and innovative problem solving, it actually can also benefit students of all backgrounds, not just the ones that are affected by affirmative action. So by prioritizing diversity on college campuses or in universities or any schools in general, it actually enhances the educational experiences of students of all backgrounds. Also, I know I read an article that was talking about how racially integrated classrooms can actually reduce racial bias, which is very helpful with affirmative action. Affirmative action is, again, very helpful in the sense of bringing people together of all backgrounds and not limiting one another to just not getting the same education as another group because of their skin color, cultural beliefs, identity, or income, anything like that. So affirmative action is actually a mechanism that allows historically excluded groups to attend colleges or any other schooling, but these groups that are discriminated, or the ones that are getting affirmative action in use, are actually the groups that went through a lot of systemic barriers in the education system, like segregation, underfunding, fewer resources, and a lot more different barriers that they've all hit with the wall that the education system puts up for them. So with affirmative action in place, like in admissions for colleges, universities, or any other schools that you're applying for, it actually allows your race to be used as one of the many factors to look at when you're being evaluated for the school or anything, like when you're applying. So therefore, it gives you a better chance to, if you're a student of color, it gives you a better chance, or if you're in any discriminated group, it gives you a better chance to actually have a more fair and comprehensive look at your application rather than just being overlooked like it was the past few decades. So For most decades, colleges and universities actually would close their door to students of color and a part of any discriminated group. So actually, affirmative action combats this by allowing colleges and universities to be more intentional and fair and looking at more things rather than just the surface when evaluating their applicants. So simply, affirmative action ensures colleges and universities to provide opportunity to those historically shut out of the system because of their race, ethnicity, income, or identity.
Hello, my name is Ian Wyndham, and I'm a debater on the pro-affirmative action side. So, what is affirmative action? Well, defined from the Oxford Languages, affirmative action is the practice or policy of favoring individuals belonging to groups known to have been discriminated against in the past. Basically, affirmative action is placed upon groups that have been mistreated or discriminated against in the past and is used to help them by somewhat leveling the playing field that has been uneven for many years. Many people can now say that affirmative action is no longer needed or even generates a somewhat reverse discrimination. However, I completely disagree. The article, The Case for Affirmative Action by Charles J. Ogletree Jr., helps establish a need for the cause. In the article, Ogletree Jr. states, last year, only 1,455 African Americans received PhDs in the United States. During the same year, 24,608 whites were awarded PhDs. The truth is that while America has made progress on racial issues, these changes are recent and vulnerable to being reversed, and, in fact, nowhere near completed. According to the article we're reading now, it states, UC Berkeley regents support restoring affirmative action, saying it's needed to fully diversify campuses. Given, diversity is shown to spur growth in cognitive skills, academic engagement, and innovative problem solving. According to an October analysis by William C. Kidler for the Civil Rights Project at UCLA. Furthermore, proving the success affirmative action provides to those it affects directly and also those affected indirectly. Thank you.